Two-Face, issue 2, Christian Ward writing with Fábio Veras on the art. So yeah, this was a pleasant surprise. I mean, not that I wasn't expecting it to be good, but it was very good, issue 1. So we didn't know what to know going in, or expect going in, and by the end of that first issue, we set up that Two-Face is actually Harvey in control, but he's pretending to still be Two-Face, and he's holding these courts, like cases for criminals out in this church, and that Two-Face is trapped in a prison inside his mind, which we saw sort of actually be represented at the end of last issue, and that's actually like a subplot in this issue, as we see Two-Face inside the main prison, alongside other like criminals that Harvey's put in there, like bad parts of his past that he doesn't want to think about. So we see like Maroney playing chess with Two-Face and stuff like that. But he's got another case. He's got another court case that he's trying to do. It's the Royal Flush Gang, the married couple that run it.
Yeah. King and Queen.
Yeah, the Queen's accused the king of cheating, and there's photos to prove it, and he claims he's innocent, so he's trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, because in their marriage, it was made that if they get divorced, one of them has to die. And so if it's found that he's at fault, that it's him. So there's some stakes to this divorce case. And it's Harvey. You get the sense that, because the Judge Gavel, right? He's trying to push these proceedings along, but it looks like Harvey's trying to kill time for whatever reason. Yeah. You know, so we're getting a lot of him like, hey, can I get a little bit longer of a recess? Can I do this? And there's a lot of fun like law, like tropes at play here. But yeah, the fact that he's trying to settle a divorce, right? But one of the things that he's holding for is he's sent, and I forgot her name. Where is it at here?
It's the character from the first issue that was
from the first one. Her name's Lake, right? So I sent her to go look for somebody in the Pink Palace and do a club, right? And that's what he's waiting for, is information from her that's going to help with this case.
Yeah, and we get a sense of what the evidence says. It's this photograph that was taken with another woman. Turns out it's the White Rabbit, specifically. It's not just a random woman at that. And that Jenna Hudson's the character who took the photo, who's kind of like the White Rabbit's other half. And it sort of does all this stuff. And then we go inside the main prison, where the colouring completely changes. Everything's really harsh with the greens and the purples and the pinks. And so we get that running throughout the issue, as well as Kentucky Fried Lawyer tries to argue in favor of the wife. I'm only calling him that because that's what Two-Face calls him at one point when his accent slips. Turns out this is actually a character named No Face, though.
False Face.
Sorry, False Face.
No Face was from Plastic Man.
That was from Plastic Man, yeah.
Yes.
Because we get like a Scooby-Doo thing at the end where he takes his face off. It turns out that he was actually using another disguise to dress up as the king from the Royal Flush Gang. The photo was completely doctored. He was never guilty of cheating on her. And this was all an elaborate ruse set up by this new like team of characters who are trying to like take them down. So that's fun.
Yeah, and you get the Ace, who's I feel like an android that comes in to the courtroom, right? And we get a fun little action sequence with Two-Face, disarming Ace, and he's like, don't take it easy on him. He's kind of just a dog saving his master. So again, some fun little character moments here.
Yeah, I like the art on that page where the panel where like first contact's about to be made is like really colorful, even though it's really muted in all the panels around it. It's like the moment of like tension kicks in.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice touch. So yeah, but yeah, we get what's so funny is that the White Rabbit girl is actually still sitting next to the disguise in the bed where they took the photo when Lake finds her. But yeah, sure enough, yeah, they get the proof, the evidence. There's even like a fake out moment here where to get away, once he's found out, the bad guy who was dressed up as the lawyer runs away after like a fake Batman like distraction where like smoke bombs go off and you see kind of like the silhouette of Batman, and Two-Face very quickly says, "Damn it, you idiots, it's not real." Where'd he go? And then sure enough, he's disappeared at that point. So the ending, it kind of reveals that there's this group called the Shadow Hand, which is White Rabbit, False Face, this Jenna Hudson, Doubt, and whoever the mysterious leader of the group is. So that's stuff that it's setting up for the future.
Yeah, I like how it's serialized, and it seems to be a greater story. And we have Lake as kind of his investigator, right, as a lawyer. But there's also these kind of story of the month, right, or case of the month here. So in this one, it was this divorce proceeding between them. I forget what it was in the first one, but it was another type of story, another court case. So yeah, so we're kind of getting Harvey Dent, attorney at law, meets this kind of conspiratorial story in the background, and it's really balanced really well. And yeah, and the fact that the artist, Fábio Veras, kind of mimics that Christian Ward style so well. And when the colors hit, it feels like that the City of Madness book that we got out of Ward, the Batman one. So they feel like they're part of the same era, which helps along the way.
Yeah, it's got a sort of darker sort of side of Gotham kind of feel to it. And then you've also got Two-Face inside the main prison saying that he's going to try and escape, and that he's been building stuff in this mind as well. It's not just Harvey's constructions. So he might have a chance. And because it seems like he kills Maroni, and then immediately there's another Maroni to talk to him. Like he's just standing there again because, we're inside the mind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's all just going to keep popping back in.
Yeah, because there's a warden too, and it's just somebody with an eye on there. So, like, what is that supposed to represent to Harvey?
Yeah.
In the mind prison.
That's a good question. I don't have a quick answer for you, but I'm sure maybe we'll get a bit more of it once we see how Two-Face tries to get past this warden, if the warden is indeed that difficult to get past. I will point out, though, that eye, the color in the eye, the iris, is very multicolored, and it's very similar to that panel where the fight's starting between Two-Face. Between Two-Face and Maroni. Yeah. So that colorful panel in the middle, it's the colorful one where the other panels are all very muted in the real world, where Harvey's starting to fight the Ace character, and the colorful one with them fighting. So that color scheme of the sort of the rainbow spectrum being used is very similar in both those panels, which it could just indicate that the warden and like this color scheme of this bright, vivid set of colors just represents the mind, when the world on the outside is all very muted and gray and whatever. But it was making me kind of think, because that's like the moment of tension when things spring into action. It does almost make me wonder if like like this idea that Two-Face in the mind was fighting someone as Harvey was fighting someone in the real world. Is it possible that this warden who has the same colors in her eye, or his eye, is like, I don't know, like his sense of justice, maybe?
Maybe, because what is keeping all of them locked in there, right? Like what part of Harvey is this going to be? And what is it with the eye? Because there's also a lot of iconography throughout of just one eye on Two-Face, right? So like when he has Maroni there, and when he cuts his neck, right, you just see that one eye and it's kind of glowing, right? So there's also just the single kind of eye motif that goes throughout, and yeah. So is it going to be more of that? Is it like what aspect of Harvey is it keeping him locked away? But yeah, it's just a really fun book. I really like this book.
That's it. I mean, obviously, as much as I compared it to that panel specifically, the entire main prison has a very like colorful, vivid look to it. So I wonder if just the idea here is that eye represents like everything's through the lens of this eye. This is like the world that this eye is viewing. So therefore, everything in this world is this color scheme kind of thing. I don't know. Like It's interesting though, because it's very pretty to look at, if nothing else, and it's a nice contrast from the real world stuff, which, like we said, is a lot more muted, a lot more flat. Whereas the stuff inside the main prison is very colorful, and it has a lot more texture. There's a lot more kind of textures, particularly in the backgrounds. They put a lot of that kind of spotted kind of look to it. So, yeah, it was a very good read though. I think this, because obviously the first issue was very solid, but it was very much about the court case on its own, because we didn't introduce this main prison stuff until the very end of the issue. But this issue, because it has that to bounce between, gave it a really interesting pacing that it felt a bit quicker than the first issue. Not that I think this is better than the first issue, necessarily, but I think it does help the pacing quite a bit. And there's a really nice moment as well where it looks like when they're in the main prison, Two-Face and Maroni look up at like a TV that's there, and they can see what's happening in the real world. It looks like the case that's happening with the Royal Flush couple is happening, and you see the judge there.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting that there's kind of a window out to the real world effectively with that TV. Interesting. So no, I'm curious to see how he keeps blending the main prison stuff with the real world, and maybe this idea that when Two-Face is able to escape, it's because Harvey's at a moment of vulnerability and he needs Two-Face to come and help him or something. Yeah. You know, whether that's like really overt and in your face, or it's more of a subtle subtext thing, I'm very curious to see what they do with that.
Or if Harvey starts to question what is reality, right, at this point, because you have these people that it seems like at the end, that's their whole gimmick is like subterfuge, right? Because if you have White Rabbit and Jaina Hudson, right, they split into two people, but they're the same. You have Doubt, who I don't know who that is, but it seems like that's his entire thing is to spread seeds of doubt. Like maybe if this team is put together to, you know, stifle Two-Face or Harvey or whatever it is, right? Because he starts to question what reality is, and like, is it the mind prison? Is it this court? Can he successfully, you know, maintain appearances as Two-Face while also being Harvey, you know, and what is that going to cause problems down the line, you know, and then is that how Two-Face gets out, right? Because he's, you know, he loses that grip. But no, yeah, very, very curious to see where this goes. And again, from the case of the month type vibe, like what other law tropes can Christian Ward pull out that, you know, to play with some of these Gotham things? Because at the end of the day, so I looked it up. The first one was the Zsasz murder trial, and if it was him or not, right? Because it had some, you know, it had some things that were Zsasz, but they weren't Zsasz. And in this one, it was just a divorce proceeding, right? So what other cases can we get out of Harvey here between the villains, and how much fun we can have with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the whole theme of the villains all representing kind of lies or like trickery or I think False Face especially. I mean, Face is literally in his name, and we've got it's a book about Two-Face. This idea of what the right face is, and you've got a pair of characters who are one person split in two. It feels like there's just a lot of theming to counteract Two-Face in general. So I mean, I don't necessarily think it's going to go down the path of he questions reality, but more just so that this is a team of villains assembled to specifically thematically counter Two-Face in a variety of ways. So very, very curious to see where they go with this. Again, it was a really enjoyable issue. I love the Batman fake out, was a really nice touch as well. Lake was such an interesting character when she was introduced last time. Her being like used as like sort of the investigator this issue to help Harvey was also pretty cool. And we'll see where they go with that too. So no, I've been the interest has been maintained. It did not fall off with issue 2, I'm happy to say. So yeah, very good. All right, what are you giving Two-Face?
I'm gonna give this a 9. I really enjoyed this one.
Whoa, that's very high. I think I'll go with a straight 8 on this one. But it's very, very good. Art's gorgeous, like what it's doing. I suspect that I think I'm going to like it even more as it goes, just if it keeps like developing kind of like the thematic links between this main prison stuff and the real world stuff. So it'd be cool to see that.